Hello. Welcome to another episode of Popcorn on the Macabre. This is Dick, and I'm here. I'm here and I'm queer. And just to let you guys know, I'm chilling by myself tonight on this dark and stormy evening. Sitting by the fireplace. Nice little thunderstorm outside, and I've got my smoking jacket on, my pipe in my mouth, and just a real kind of by the fireplace, real cozy setting here, and just wanted to kind of settle in and talk about the Friday the 13th franchise. And I talk about these movies all the time, like fucking ad nauseum, and I mean, I'm to the point to where, like, I'm just exhausted by it. But, I mean, it's... Don't get me wrong. I'll always talk about these movies, but, like, I feel like my nuts are kind of drained. Like, I've just completely just blown my load on these movies constantly. And, I mean, it's just something that I've always talked about. But I love talking about the Friday the 13th films. And I'm actually going to be talking about them more because we haven't even done all of our commentaries for these movies yet, but I wanted to today I wanted to kind of just rank the movies in the franchise. I've been wanting to do this lately because it changes every year, and my list never stays the same. It never stays the same because every year when I revisit these movies, and I do revisit these movies every year, by the way, my ranking sort of changes. I don't know why. But I think it's just part of just getting older. So I don't want to spend too much time, on each movie. So I'm going to kind of I'm going to go through like a quick overview of each movie. And I'm not really going to do a review, but I am going to kind of tell you what I think of them personally. And I guess I don't want to divulge too much because, like I said, I mean, my opinion could change. And I don't want you guys to fucking hate me because I feel like some of my opinions are going to suck around this time next year. And who knows, I might even rank them next year. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Before I go down my list here, be sure to stab the fucking like button and, leave a comment, share this episode, subscribe, tell your friends about it, tell your kids, your wife, all that shit. And, get comfortable, like I am. I'm just kind of like sitting back, playing with my titties. So, get comfortable, sit back, grab a beer, your bong, your balls, whatever you want to do. Put something in your hand, put something in your mouth. And let's just go through these films because, I think that, there's 12 of them, I think, in the franchise. I know there's been a lot of, like, Friday the 13th fan films, but we're not even going to touch those. Although I will give a shout out to the movie Never Hike Alone. That is actually a really good Friday the 13th fan film. So if you haven't seen Never Hike Alone, friends, get on it, watch it, absorb it, learn it, know it, live it. It's fucking awesome. But anyway, I'm just going to dive right into my list here, and my number 12, starting with number 12, Jason Takes Manhattan, Friday the 13th, part 8, okay? It's the absolute worst one for me, and like I said, this may change next year, or who knows, it may change, a few months from now, but I kind of hate this movie, guys. Like, I don't know. It was always my least favorite when I was a kid. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things I like about it. I mean, there's Kane Hodder, who's fucking awesome. But I will say that Kane Hodder is not my favorite Jason. And I know that's kind of the cardinal sin, too. You're not supposed to criticize Kane Hodder, but he's just not my favorite. I mean, he has, like, all the perfect mannerisms. I feel like he embodies Jason really well. The way he turns, moves, stalks. The Jason that we know nowadays is pretty much, everybody thinks of Kane Hodder or even Ken Kersinger which Ken Kersinger, by the way, is actually in Jason Takes Manhattan. I don't know if a lot of you knew that, but he's like he's in the diner. He plays the guy who actually tries to kick Jason's ass whenever Jason comes to the diner. Anyway, I don't know, man. There's a lot that I don't like about Jason Takes Manhattan. I will say that it's the one that felt like it slowly started drifting away from the rest of the movies in the series. And maybe that's because there was just this idea of taking him into the city, which, as we all know, he's not even in the fucking city for, the majority of the movie. And, and I think, hell, most of it was shot in fucking Toronto or something. It wasn't even, New York, for the most part. But, I mean, it has a lot of cool sequences. There's what's his name, Julius on the roof, kick ass. That was a good scene, with the head coming off, and VC Dupree, I think that was his name. He held his own. He fought Jason pretty well, and I always that was a standout scene to me when I was a kid. I always loved that one. But two of the most interesting characters to me in that film were killed off really early. There's let's see, well, actually more than two. There was JJ. She's killed like right off the fucking bat, making her music video. And then there was Wayne, the guy who looks like Garth but is named Wayne. And then they killed him pretty quick, and they killed Tamra, and Kelly Hugh. She was in that. They fucking bumped her off pretty early too. I don't know. There was just a lot of characters that I really couldn't relate to in the second half of the movie. I thought Rennie was kind of a weak heroine. There was a little subplot in there with McCulloch, and about how he was trying to help her learn how to swim, and he throws her in the lake and all that. I mean, that was mildly interesting when I was younger, but I don't know. The movie's it's lame. It's just fucking lame. I don't even really like the way Jason's face looks at the end. Like, it just looks like a dried up asshole. And, it's just like, I don't know. I don't like how when the toxic waste, the water kind of dissipates, you see Jason as a little boy. Just this normal looking boy. He's got fucking hair. I don't know what's going on. But I'm not going to spend too much time on Jason Takes Manhattan. I will just say it's the worst one of the fucking series. With that being said, let's go to number 11, which is Jason X. And look, the more I watch this movie, I actually kind of have a fondness for it. When it first came out, I thought it was complete ass. I was really pissed off. Me and a bunch of my friends went and saw it, and I left the theater just completely perturbed. I was, my friends didn't really get it. They were wondering why I was so mad. I guess it was just they thought it was fun, and I hated the idea of Jason being in space, but I wanted to see it because with that concept, it's like Leprechaun 4 in space. You have to fucking do it. You got to do it. And I'm surprised they haven't put Chucky in space yet, but that's another thing. And there was a few good moments in Jason X. Like, it has a lot of creative death sequences, But I will say that a lot of them don't hold up because of the CGI. It's actually the CGI is the one thing that kind of kills Jason X for me. But a lot of the deaths are attractive to look at. A lot of the women in the movie are attractive to look at. That's what I was going to say. That a lot of the most interesting people in the movie are the women. There was Lexa, I think it was Lexa Doig, or whatever, played the character of, I think it was Rowan. And then you had the Janessa chick, which I think was Melissa Aid. Lisa Ryder was the cyborg chick, or the KM. It had, I don't know, it had some interesting characters, and they were all, fun to look at. And it was just, I don't know, it had this alien resurrection feel to it. But it's just corny as shit. But I mean, the one line that I fucking laugh at every time I watch it is, when the guy, oh man, it was like, I think it's the black guy. He's like his name is Brodsky or something. And Jason stabs him, and he's like, "It's going to take a lot more than a poke in the ribs. Get this old dog down." And Jason, stabs him again. He's like, "Oh, that ought about do it." That gets me every time I watch it. Like, that is fucking hilarious. But that's like, that's a highlight. David Cronenberg's his cameo is a fucking highlight. Oh, and the part when Jason is completely. He's confused. It's the whole the virtual reality thing when Jason is he's taken back to the camp and you see the naked chicks there. I thought that was cool. That was an interesting highlight. And other than that, there's not much I can really say about Jason X. And like I said, this may swap places with with the next film I'm gonna list here, because I don't know. I feel like these two films compete with each other on which one is worse. So let me just move on to number 10, which is Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. And there's a lot to like about this movie when you're a kid. I went and saw this in the theater when I was a kid, so I think that's one thing I really loved about it. And there was the whole promise at the end of the movie that we were going to see Freddy versus Jason eventually, and so it was awesome. It was the one thing I didn't like about it was you don't see Jason for that much, like for really like fucking 90% of the movie you don't see Jason. When he finally shows up at the end, it's badass. He has that fight with John D. LeMay, and who's like this tough guy apparently, and it's a pretty good fight sequence at the end. There's like a fucking jungle gym and shit from what I remember. But Jason Goes to Hell, I don't know. There are a lot of cool death sequences, and there was a chick in the movie that was really badass. Man, I can't remember her name. It was like, God, Allison Williams or something. I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out in the comment section. But this chick was she was the red-haired chick in the diner. She had a cool sequence there. And there, that whole diner sequence was badass. And there's just a lot of graphic violence in Jason Goes to Hell that I think really helps it out a lot. There's some cool music by Harry Manfredini. They brought him back, of course. And Kane Hodder always does a good job as Jason. But I feel like the absence of Jason in the film is kind of what hurts it for me nowadays when I watch it. And that's one thing, like I said, with Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell. There'll be some days where I'll be in a fucking Jason X mood, and then I completely hate Jason Goes to Hell. And then sometimes I want to see fucking Creighton Duke, so I watch Jason Goes to Hell, and then I'm like, fuck Jason X, he's in space. So, I don't know, it depends on my mood, depends on how stupid and goofy I'm feeling, and I don't know. But Jason Goes to Hell, that's my number 10. It's not a fucking horrible film, but it is just, when I was younger, it was higher on my list, I will say that, and as I get older, I just don't appreciate it as much as I used to. But, yeah, so moving on to number 9, which this one used to be this used to be at the fucking bottom, like, bottom of the barrel. Like, I fucking hated this movie, hated it. And even to this day, I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I feel like it is one of the weaker movies in the series, but that would be the Friday the 13th remake. Friday the 13th, 2009. Hell, what can you say about this one? It's kind of, it's hackneyed, full of fucking tropes, which, fuck. I guess you could say that about the whole series. But, I don't know. I think there's a certain amount of charm there when Jared Padalecki shows up. The guy from Supernatural. I feel like he adds a certain charm to it. Although I really didn't care for the whole subplot of him trying to hunt down his sister. I mean, I guess that kind of was a lot like Rob Dyer in Friday 4, when he's looking for Sandra. Or actually, not looking for Sandra, but seeking revenge. But, I mean, it was similar to that. But I really didn't understand. And I know a lot of people will say that, I think it's Amanda Rigetti, who plays Jared Padalecki's sister in the movie. A lot of people will say that, okay, well, Jason kidnapped her because she looked like his mom. She reminded Jason of his mom, which is the reason why he kept her alive. But, fuck that shit. I don't really want to see Jason kidnap people. And he had a fucking lair. Like, Jason had a lair in that one. It had, like, alarms and bells and whistles and shit all over it. And it was just weird. It didn't seem like Jason. Okay, and I guess you could say, well, it's a remake, so, anything goes in remakes. And that is kind of what they did with that remake, is they made it, they made it a lot like fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, that's what it kind of feels like. But then again, it's from the same director, Marcus Nispel, I think. And yeah, he directed the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel, and then he goes to do the Friday the 13th remake, and of course, they're kind of similar in tone, But there's a lot to like about the Friday the 13th remake, because I still have fun with it every time I watch it. Oh, and the girl who plays Bree, Jesus Christ, Juliana Gill. There's like that fuck scene that lasts for like 35 minutes, and she's like fucking that dude, that Tom Cruise lookalike, and he's like, your fucking tits are stupendous, dude. And it's like, I mean, it's awesome. That's a cool arbitrary scene that they didn't have to put in there, but I guess they felt like they needed to cater to Friday the 13th fans. I mean, that's kind of what we want to watch when we watch these movies. We want to see exploitative shit, and it delivered the goods as far as that goes. I mean, and hell, I thought Derek Mears did a good job as Jason. He's actually one of the better Jasons. I don't care that much for the film, but I thought Derek Mears did a good job as Jason. And I will say that probably one of the best sequences. It's not the fucking scene at the beginning when the guy is singing Sister Christian. It's not that one, although that is a good scene. I really like it for some reason. But I like the sequence. When I don't even remember the actors' names, but it's when the guy goes out on the lake with the boat. He's taking his girlfriend skiing. You guys know what I'm talking about. He dies, and then the girl, she's hiding from Jason in that water. It looks like it's just a big giant set. It doesn't even look like they shot it on location. But it's like that steamy fucking water, and she hides under the dock. You guys know what I'm talking about. She gets stabbed in the head with the machete. Jason pulls her up, and you see her tits for like a split second. Then she drops back down to the water. That was a really stylish scene. Like, I really, really like that. And I thought, what's her name did a good job too, Danielle Panabaker. That was actually a surprising moment in that movie when she gets impaled, stabbed. I can't remember exactly how she died, but it was like a shocking moment. It was like, oh shit, I didn't think she was. I thought she was going to be a final girl, and I guess she kind of was up to a degree. But that's I don't know. Jason was like this stealthy ninja in the movie, and it just kind of had like, I don't know. There was that redneck dude it had that Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel. There was the redneck guy who was selling the weed. I didn't really like that part. He was like, "It'll fuck your shit up, boy." I didn't get into that. But, let's see. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on Friday the 13th, 2009. But, I mean, who knows? It might move up higher on the list as the years go by. Because it was actually lower a few years ago. I really hated that movie. But I've come to appreciate it a little more, just like I appreciate Rob Zombie's Halloween remake even more so now. I don't know. You get older and you start seeing things differently, and or maybe you get kind of out of touch. I don't know, either one. But anyway, moving on. See, that was number 9. So number 8, Freddy versus Jason. That's a really good movie. To me, it's a good movie. I think I have a soft spot for it because I saw it fucking 3 times. I saw Freddy versus Jason 3 times consecutively on the opening weekend. So when the movie came out, 2003, I would have been 21 when that movie came out, and I remember going to see it the first night, and I went by myself because I couldn't get any of my fucking gay friends to go with me. So they all kind of bitched out on me, and it was cool. I kind of made friends with this stranger that was sitting next to me, and we just kind of talked shit about the movie the whole time. That was fun. And then the second night, I went with 2 other friends who, they were like, man, did you see it? And I said, well, I saw it last night, but I'll go again if you guys want to go. So I went with them, and then the third night, a buddy of mine who had been sick that whole weekend, he knew that I had already seen it. I mean, he knew just because he knew me, and he knew that, that I had a huge appreciation for those films, and he knew that I had been waiting on Freddy vs. Jason for my whole life, and he knew that I had seen it, but he begged me to go again, so I saw it again, and I pretty much had the whole movie memorized by the end of that weekend. And I think it was a good time. It was a good time of my life, and that's why I don't want to be too biased, because I mean, the movie is kind of corny, especially by today's standards, and I hate disputing with people on who won that fucking fight. We all know it was Freddy, and people love arguing with me about that. I mean, Jason, he didn't really kick that much ass. I mean, I don't know. Freddy beats the fuck out of Jason. He beats the fuck out of him. Go back and watch the movie. You'll see. Freddy beats the fuck out of Jason, like, for the most part. And, I don't know. You'd have to really watch it, too. Because Monica Keena actually fucks Jason up more than... Or she actually fucks Freddy up more than Jason does. You just gotta watch it. I don't know. It's got interesting characters. I'm not going to say that they were, like, great characters. They weren't even all likable. But I like, John Ritter's son, Jason Ritter. He was good, and his buddy, and the chick from Ginger Snaps. She was good in it. Anyway, I don't know, man. I actually probably need to go back and watch Freddy vs. Jason, because I haven't seen it. That's actually probably the one film on this list that I need to revisit, because I've seen it so many fucking times that, it might even rank lower now, but as it stands right now, Freddy vs. Jason is my number 8. So, moving on to number 7. And this one is probably going to piss a lot of you people off. I'm sorry. I mean, if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. You can come after me. Hold me down, rape me, whatever you want to do. I'm sorry. Like, I used to like this movie a lot more. And for many people, this is like their number 2 or number 3. For some people, it's even their number 1. But my number 7 is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. And I'll tell you why I don't really like it as much as I used to. The humor it doesn't work for me. It's a little, what would you say, I guess cartoonish. And many people would say, well, a lot of the Jason movies kind of have that humor. And I guess you could say Part 5 even kind of flirts with it to an extent. With, the damage, Aladas, and all that. But see, that most of the humor in Part 5 is with the characters. Like, the characters are kind of, I don't know, they're real, they're stereotypes, And Part 6 kind of has that, but Part 6 just has this self-referential humor that I don't completely connect with. I mean, it's a lot of people say that Kevin Williamson, who wrote Scream, was heavily inspired by Friday the 13th Part 6 because it was so aware of itself. It was real self-referential. I just wasn't a big fan of that. It kind of took me out of the movie, or at least it does now. whenever I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is fucking awesome." And I will say that probably, I mean, my favorite scene still to this. I mean, it's the opening. It's the opening scene. It's when Tommy Jarvis, he goes to the graveyard with Horseshack, Ron Palillo. You know him from Welcome Back, Kotter. Anyway, he goes to the cemetery with him, and it's like this real gothic opening, which is what the director Tom McLaughlin was trying to do. He was trying to make it gothic, moody, and it works. It completely fucking works. But then as soon as Tommy runs away and Jason is completely resurrected, Tommy goes to the sheriff's station, and from that point it just kind of like, I'm not gonna say it dies off, because I mean the movie has its great moments. Because I'm not even gonna say the movie sucks. It ranks lower on my list now, but I actually really like it. I feel like it's kind of in the middle. As far as my rating goes, it seems like it's in the middle. But I'm not here to rate it. Not even really here to give a big review on it. I will just say that it's kind of I don't know. It's like when I watch it now, I just kind of watch it with this malaise. I don't really get excited. Yeah, because some of the other ones I can still watch and they hold up. I mean, I guess you could say that every Jason film kind of washes over me now, just because I've seen them so many fucking times. But Part 6 is just I will say it gets goofier to me every time I watch it. It just gets goofier. The whole the paintball crew in the woods. I can't completely get into it. I will say that probably one of the best things about the movie though is the relationship between the sheriff and his daughter. Megan, and the guy who plays the sheriff. I think was his name David Kagan. I think he's a really good fucking actor, but he's a fucking asshole. He's like an asshole through the whole movie. You hate him because he hates Tommy, and they're like sworn enemies throughout this whole thing. And throughout the whole movie, you want Tommy to convince the sheriff that Jason is real and that he's come back. And the sheriff just won't believe him the whole time. He knows Tommy's full of shit, and then finally, the sheriff realizes at the end that Tommy's not full of shit, and it's just such a good moment when the sheriff, comes out of the bushes to protect his daughter, and he starts beating the fuck out of Jason. I mean, he dies pretty brutally. What Jason like fucking bends him backwards. It's amazing, that fucking death. But I like how the sheriff kind of like, he could have stayed in the bushes and hid, but he chose to, protect his daughter. And that's one of the most admirable things about, I guess you could say, the characters in that movie. I mean, I like Tommy too, and I feel like Tom Matthews, he's probably the best Tommy Jarvis, honestly. I mean, a lot of people would say Corey Feldman, but Corey Feldman was so fucking young that, you couldn't completely flesh out the Tommy Jarvis character at that point. So Tom Matthews does a good job. Jennifer Cook, plays Megan. She's, I think she came from that show V, if I'm not mistaken. But she does a good job. You get, a good debut performance from Tony Goldwyn before he shot off to superstardom doing Ghost. Tony Goldwyn, brief appearance from him. Interesting sequence with Tom Fridley. Isn't it fucking Travolta, John Travolta's nephew? I think that's right. Anyway, I'm rambling. Part 6. Oh yeah, an awesome fucking soundtrack by Alice Cooper. I was obsessed with that fucking song. The end credit song? He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask. When I was a kid, like, I had to have that soundtrack. I fucking love that song. But, Jason Lives, it has, it just has its ups and downs. And who knows? Like I said, my ranking might change. But as of right now, Jason Lives is my number 7. So with that being said, let's move to number 6. And many of you are going to hate me for this. But my number 6 is Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. So as of right now, I do like it just a cunt hair more than Jason Lives, and I don't know why. Um, I'll just say I don't even know if it comes down to script, because I mean here's the thing. It's like Jason Lives probably has the better script, and now that I'm thinking about it, I will say that Jason Lives definitely does have the better script. Um, but A New Beginning is so raunchy, exploitative, disgusting. It's like everything you would want in a Friday the 13th film, but it's not Jason. That's what's awesome, is it's got this super high body count, and it's not even fucking Jason. But when I was a kid, I thought it was Jason. You know, I mean, I didn't even know anything about the imposter until I got older. I think I was too young to understand that. I didn't understand the whole Roy subplot. But, you know, and I've talked about this before, Danny Steinman, the director. I mean, just fucking, just, you know, all around pervert. And proud of it. He was totally proud of being a pervert. Listen to the commentary on it was on one of those discs. And I think it should be on the most recent Blu-ray release. But Danny Steinman, it's fucking funny, man. He just like he wanted this movie to up the ante in terms of raunch. I'm not even gonna say violence or anything, because it's actually not that violent. Part 5 is kind of tame because it was cut so much by the MPAA at the time. But it's like Danny Steinman was kind of going to war with the MPAA over and hell, probably even some of the executives of Paramount, because they were making these deals on, well, okay, look, you can either have the nudity or the violence. Which one do you want? So that is why you see more titties in Friday the 13th Part 5. But the Friday the 13th Part 5 also has one of my favorite characters, Violet, Tiffany Helm. I'm completely in love with that character. And I was when I was a kid, too. And, you know, there was a lot of just interesting characters in the fifth installment. Deborah Voorhees, as Tina. I've met her several times, and she's like a really nice lady. Hot as hell. Okay, and most of the girls in the fifth Friday movie were just insanely hot. And Melanie Kinnaman, it had a really good cast. I like Reggie the Reckless. I like Miguel Nunez as what was his name, Demon. Yeah, and we just did a commentary on Friday the 13th Part 5. If you haven't listened to that, guys, check it out, because I probably talk way more about it in the commentary. And there's a lot of things I could say right now that I'm just not thinking of. But I will say Part 5 is just, it's silly, and it knows it's silly. It balances the tone, because at times Part 5 does get really goofy and over the top. But it's different from Part 6. They're two different types of humor. Some people will disagree with me on that, but in part 5, it's all character related. It's these characters where their dialogue. It's the delivery of the dialogue. It's the whole what's her name, Carol Locatel, fucking and her son Junior, like those are just batshit idiotic characters that you would normally see in a fucking cartoon. And Part 6 just has this I don't know. Like I said, it's just a self-referential type humor. It's almost like it was trying to be too good for itself, And Part 5 pretty much knows its shit. And I think that's what makes it not a better movie, but it makes it more enjoyable for me. So, as of right now, A New Beginning, I like it, like I said, just slightly better than Jason Lives. So, that would be my number 6. Moving on to number 5. And a lot of people are just going to completely crucify me for this. So come after me if you want. Take a spear, shove it up my ass. But Part 7. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. That is my number 5. And I used to actually hate it. But, the older I've got, I don't know. I think it's the story of the telekinetic girl. It reminds me of Carrie a lot, which I think that, obviously that's what they were going for. But I don't know. I just have so much fun watching part 7. I think because they kind of take it back to the Crystal Lake roots. You know, it's like part 6, you have the Camp Forest Green crap, and then you have the kids show up. It completely changes the feeling, you know, and like part 7 feels a lot like part 4 because you just have like these you know, sexy teenagers just like hanging out in this cabin and waiting for this dude to show up, you know, for his birthday party. And you know, had Jason not been in the movie, you know, you could have called this movie Birthday Bash, which was the original title, the working title, because they didn't want anybody to know. The studio didn't want anybody to know, you know, that they were working on another Friday the 13th installment, so they called it Birthday Bash, and that could have actually been, you know, the title for this this slasher idea, because it could have been just its own movie, you know, like with this telekinetic girl. It didn't have to have shit to do with Jason at all, but the fact that it does just makes it all the more better. And this is the first time we see Kane Hodder as Jason, so there's that. And I don't know, the older I get too, I just appreciate what John Carl Buechler did, the director, because I really respected the guy. Just the years he had worked with, I mean, he had worked on so many movies, but all the work he did with Charles Band and, you know, those movies, like, John Carl Buechler has had his name on so many horror films, and I feel like he wasn't treated very well. You know, and if you watch some of the behind the scenes shit on part 7, they kind of go into it, how John Carl Buechler was, I know he was treated like shit, but I think it was the associate producer at the time, and he had some really cool effects. And I've actually seen some of the death sequences. You know, they're like really low resi, fucking horrible, and I don't even think they have the original negatives anymore. But those original death sequences that Buechler wanted to put into part 7, you know, that the film seems truncated because a lot of those death sequences were cut, and this was right at the height of that, you know, that late 80s period where, you know, MPAA was run by a bunch of fucking bull dykes, you know, and angry mothers who just wanted to, you know, they wanted to cut these films all to shit because they felt like they were raping the minds of America, and, you know, destroying the youth and all that shit. But these were really inventive, you know, creative films, along with the Nightmare series. You know, around that time there was just, you know, horror movies were trying to top each other in terms of gore and all that, and, you know, just with these death sequences. And I mean, shit, that's all really in the latter half of the Friday the 13th series. That's all you have are just death sequences. And it's just, you know, they get more insane and over the top with each entry. But I like the characters in part 7. Dr. Cruz is, you know, Terry Kaiser from Weekend at Bernie's. He's a good villain, and you know, it's like when he fucking dies, you're so happy. Like, I mean, you're just fucking cheering at that point. And, you know, there's a few, there's just, I mean, there's a lot of good moments. There's the shocking moment when Tina's mom dies. You know, I wasn't expecting that. And then there was just, I don't know. I think it's mainly just it's just got a good setting, man. A good woodsy setting. But in terms of story, I mean, it's a little thin. But I think they could have added more meat and potatoes, like I said, if it wasn't a Jason movie. Because the Tina character is interesting. And you don't really delve much into her issues as much because, you know, you had to have Jason fucking kill somebody every 3 to 4 minutes, or the audience would get restless, of course. So, you know, it is a movie with a high body count, and it definitely delivers in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, part 7 is just fucking fun. It's fun. I can't really explain it any other way. And I think I just used to give it a hard time because of the whole telekinetic thing. I didn't like that when I was a kid. I don't think I connected with that as much, but the older I get, I'm like, this is pretty awesome. You know, it's pretty awesome. And honestly, I felt like they should have brought the Tina character back, you know, and instead of Rennie and Jason Takes Manhattan, they should have continued the story with Tina. But I don't know what happened with that. That's neither here nor there. But I thought John Carl Buechler did an awesome job directing it. I feel like it could have been a way better film had had all the death sequences been completely intact. And the Melissa character, I always had a crush on Melissa. Even though she was such a cunt, she was interesting character. And then you had the sci-fi guy Eddie. I don't know. I guess you could say the most interesting thing about that movie probably is the characters. And Kane Hodder. I just like the look of Jason. Like anytime I ever drew a picture of Jason, sketched him out, he always kind of had those exposed ribs and the big chain around his neck and the cracked mask that's about to completely erode, from being underwater for so long. But yeah, that's about all I can say about part 7. So moving on to my number 4, and that is Friday the 13th Part 2. And this movie used to be a lot higher. This one kind of dukes it out with Part 3 a lot. I really like Part 2, but I will say that probably the one thing I don't like about it is that it's like they didn't really know who the Jason character was. It's like they were trying to figure it out. And they put the bag on him, the baghead Jason, which, I like it. I think it's cool, but I just don't feel like it's completely a Friday the 13th film yet, until it gets to part 3. But part 2 is great. I feel like it's directed, with the same kind of style and tone. The way that Sean Cunningham did the first one, I feel like Steve Miner does a very good job carrying that same style and tone over to the second one. Because the second one, it feels a lot like the first one. It almost has the same feel. It's definitely the same formula, the same template. And I like a lot of the characters in part 2. You have, goofy Jerry Seinfeld lookalike. What's his name? Stu Charno as Ted. And he's kind of like the practical Joker character, Ned, from the first film. But part 2, to me, the reason why it suffers a little bit, don't get me wrong, it's one of the best movies in the series, and I'm not shitting on this movie by any means, but I think why it doesn't rank higher for me anymore is because it's so formulaic, in terms of how it kind of almost mimics the first one. It's not, it is a standalone sequel, it's just, in the first one you had Mrs. Voorhees, in the second one you have Jason, but it's almost, they're almost the same film, but I do like, I will say part 2 probably has my favorite final girl in it, and that's Jenny, Amy Steele. She is, she definitely is, she's one of the best final girls. If I had to pick, and it kind of goes back and forth between her and Chris from part 3. I also liked her too. But Jenny just has that whole, that sequence at the end of part 2 when, she's using her child psychology shit on Jason. And it works. And it's like, she's the only person who actually, I'm not going to say she relates to Jason, but she tries to understand him. And it's kind of similar to the way Feldman, does that shit in part 4 at the end, tries to reason with Jason, or at least just tries to get in his head a little bit. And that's what Amy Steele does, and it's it definitely, she's a standout character, and she is kind of what makes it better than most of the other movies. She adds a lot of heart to the movie. And but part 2, it's got some really cool shit. I like the death, the upside down death, with Scott. And just recently, Scream Factory released the uncensored death sequences from part 2. And if you guys haven't seen that, I don't know what you're waiting on. You need to buy that fucking box set just for that, just to watch the death sequences. They're probably on fucking YouTube by now, but this box set, it had the uncensored death, which I hadn't seen in fucking, I had never seen. I didn't even know they were out there, this footage. I didn't know it existed. But apparently they had the footage left over from one of the effects guys, whoever did the makeup for part 2. I think it was Carl Fullerton, and he had an old VHS, and that's where they got it from. They had to be real careful with it because this tape was, old as shit. And but it had, all those old death scenes, all the, like, the, what's her name, Sandra, with Jeff on top of her, the spear going through both of them. You have that. And because I always wondered if that was a scene that was cut, because when I was a kid, I would see the VHS box in the video store, and you would see, like, I think there was a picture of Jeff and Sandra in bed, and you actually saw the spear going through his back. And so I was thinking, like, was that in the movie, or did they shoot that still for, like, publicity? But anyway, it was really awesome to see a lot of those death scenes kind of, fully restored. Even Alice's death scene at the beginning, when he plunges the fucking ice pick through her skull. Like, that was refreshing to see. I was like, holy shit. I just, I don't know. It was a nice surprise. But, yeah, part 2, really fucking good. Like I said, carries the same tone as the first one. And that's about all I can say about part 2 for now. And also, we have a commentary on that one. And it's actually our first episode. So if you guys have not listened to our commentary on Friday the 13th part 2, I don't know what you're waiting on. Listen to it. Tell us what you think. And with that being said, I'm moving on to number 3, which is Friday the 13th, Part 3D. And a lot of people think this is one of the shittiest, corniest, cheesiest ones. But I love Part 3. And I think when I was a kid, I think it was one of the first ones that I saw. And it's the one where Jason first gets his hockey mask. We all know that by now. And I honestly, Richard Brooker is one of my favorite Jasons. Like, he is the one who completely embodies Jason. I don't care what you guys say about Kane Hodder. Richard Brooker was there first. God damn it. And he actually looks like Jason is supposed to look. I mean, he's all hulked out. He's menacing, and he runs. He fucking runs, and I mean, I like Ted White too. I think Ted White did a good job as Jason. They actually look really similar, but Richard Brooker just had this huge, like, just this. He just had this intimidating stature, and that's what I love about Part 3 is when you first see Jason, like, come out, and I'm talking like, when you see him come out of the barn, and he's about to shoot Vera. It's like, holy shit, he's fucking huge. And, and when I was a kid, I just remember being really shocked by that. Or not shocked, but just, really intimidated by this, this giant force. And, like I said, I don't even really remember if Part 3 was the first one that I saw, but I know it was one of the first Friday the 13th films that I saw, because I just remember seeing the hockey mask. Speaking of that, I like the Shelley character. He adds, a little bit of levity to the movie, and I like the bikers. I thought that was an interesting little subplot, and I always loved. Some people may not even give a shit, but I loved at the end when Ali fucking comes back, and it's like for a split second you're thinking, okay, this guy's gonna save the day, and then he just gets fucking killed. But it's it's enough time for Chris to grab the axe and this, Friday the 13th Part 3 was the movie when Jason got the notch in his mask, And, I don't know, Part 3 is just, I guess you could say it was groundbreaking. And it's just such an important part of the series. And it's definitely really goofy at times. And if I were comparing Part 2 to Part 3, I would say Part 2 definitely sets out to be more of a straightforward horror film, whereas Part 3 sets out to be a little more campy and fun. And I think at that point they were making so much money in the franchise, they were like, people will see these films no matter what, so they decided to lighten it up a little bit, have fun with it, and that's what they did. I mean, Part 3 is it's a ride. The one thing that I thought was really scary when I was a kid, and I think it still works now, but it is kind of weird. Jason's like trying to rape Chris, and it's really fucking weird to me, because it's like, why? Why was Jason? It's like the only time Jason's ever tried to rape somebody, and it almost kind of like I was telling you earlier about the about Friday the 13th, the remake. It's like, why is Jason keeping this girl captive? You know, and I didn't completely understand that. I don't really understand why he was trying to rape Chris. I mean, and I think maybe it was so early on in the series that they really didn't know what kind of character Jason was yet, and you know, I guess they just kind of saw him as the the feral mongoloid type, and he was just a beast at that point. So I don't know, but it is weird how he just kind of left Chris alive. You know, but I mean, the Jason we all know would have just fucking hacked her up right then and there and been done with it. But maybe it's because she wasn't a counselor. I don't know. Maybe he was just like, "Bitch, you're on my turf. You about to get raped." You know, I don't know. It's just weird. It adds something to the movie though. It's like it gets serious right there. When I was a kid, that part really scared me because that was like the one part of in part 3 that was just real serious, and everything else was just, you know, kind of campy. And there was a creepy scene. There are 2 creepy scenes in part 3 that stuck with me. Because I think the movie is pretty well directed. And if not for the humorous scenes that were a little heavy-handed at times, like you know, I don't know, especially all the gimmicks with the 3D and shit. If not for all that, I don't know, this movie probably would have been a little better. But to me, it's just one of the best one of the best entries in the series. But the 2 moments that really gave me the fucking chills when I was a kid, you had I just thought they were really well done. There's the scene when, you know, Fox was swinging from the barn, and she's like, you know, she's fucking hooting and hollering, and then what's his name, Loco, looks up and sees that Fox is gone. He just sees the rope dangling. I always thought that was creepy, and the Harry Manfredini music kicks in, and I always thought there was a lot of creepy scenes in that barn in part 3. The barn kind of gave the movie definitely the atmosphere that it needed. And the other scene that really kind of disturbed me, oh yeah, when it's like the first time it's not really the first time you see Jason with the hockey mask, but when I was a kid, this image stood out to me like a lot. When the hippie Chong, I call him Chong because I can't. What was his name? Chuck. His name was Chuck in the movie, but he goes down to the basement, you know, and the power's out, and he replaces a fuse, you know, and he kicks the fucking disconnect back on or whatever, and you see Jason right behind him, and that was creepy. And yeah, I don't know. I guess there was a lot to like about part 3, although, you know, it's hard to say. I mean, would it have been a better film if they didn't focus so much on the 3D gimmick? I don't know, but I like part 3 because it feels different from all the other films, and that's hard for me to explain. But yeah, I like all the characters. I like the Debbie and Andy couple. You know, Debbie just kind of, she's real funny. You know, she's real funny, and normally they'd have a chick like that acting like a floozy, you know, and Andy, you know, he's kind of a jock type, but they're not like obnoxious. They're actually like human characters. Part 3 kind of does a good job with that, I think. You know, adding a little bit of heart to it. Like there's the Vera character when she's looking at Shelly's wallet, you know, and she sees Shelly with his mom. I always like that. I like how fucking the movie's kind of upsetting, you know, when you find out that Debbie's pregnant. You're like, holy shit, they straight up killed her. You know, she dies just like Kevin Bacon did in the first one. And, you know, that was kind of shocking. Honestly, wasn't expecting Rick to die. Because, you know, in part 2, they didn't kill Paul. Or maybe they did. I don't know. That's a complete mystery. But in part 3, you know, it's like, I wasn't expecting Rick to, you know, get his eyeball popped out. But yeah, part 3, it just stands out to me as, I guess, being one of it's just like the signature Friday the 13th film, you know, right next to the 4th one, honestly. But speaking of the 4th one, moving on to my number 2, which is the 4th one, And we just did a commentary on this one, guys. So if you haven't listened to that, please do. I forget what episode it is, but if you're subscribed to our channel, you should see it. It's a commentary for Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is one of the best slasher movies in slasher history. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just fucking great. I don't even really know what to say about Part 4. I mean, Crispin Glover's fucking great. You know, Corey Feldman's great. I love Trish, you know, Kimberly Beck, who was in Marnie. She was a little girl in the movie Marnie. And she was also in one of my favorite exploitation movies, Massacre at Central High. The movie it had a good cast. Judy Aronson from Weird Science, Lawrence Monason from Mask, and The Last American Virgin. Part 4, man, I blew my nuts recently on Part 4, so I don't really know what else I can say about it, other than it is my number 2. It's my second favorite Friday the 13th movie. I think it's a lot of it is a lot of it are like the death sequences. You know, they brought Tom Savini back. Joe Zito, I think, is a really good director. He was the perfect guy to direct Part 4 because I think they wanted like this grandiose feel to it, and it definitely delivers, you know, on that level. But yeah, Corey Feldman, fucking great in it. There's just, I don't know. It's like, what else can I say about Part 4 that I haven't already said? And if you guys haven't seen it, just go fucking watch it. Don't even listen to what I'm saying here. I mean, because I honestly don't know what else I can say about Part 4. I will say this, that I like the whole, I think I mentioned this even during our commentary, I like the family dynamic. I like how it's like the first time you ever really deal with a domestic setting in a Friday the 13th film. It's not just, you know, counselors at a summer camp. Now you have these, you know, just these teenagers that are trying to get laid, and you actually get to know them a little better than some of the other characters in the previous films. And I think that, you know, Part 4 just does a really good job with character development, and you're also able to identify with most of these assholes. You know, I mean, it's like most of the time you want them to die. Well, in Part 4, you're kind of rooting for them a little bit, like all the characters, even Teddy. I mean, like, even down to like the most obnoxious character. You know, even the lady eating the fucking banana. It's like, what the hell did she do? You know, I mean, Part 4 is just, it's just good. It's one of the fucking best. It's one of the best slashers. It's right up there with The Burning and Halloween to me. And like The Prowler, you know, which was also directed by Joe Zito. So, yeah, check it out. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. That's my number 2. So, moving on to my number 1, in case you guys weren't able to guess. And if you don't like me, you know, listing this movie as my number 1, you can just suck my balls. Because, I mean, Part 1, the original Friday the 13th, to me, is the best. And I don't know why. I guess because I just like the original. I don't, it's not like I just have this, like I'm just committed to liking the first one because it's the first one. I just think it's the best film. I mean, it's not really a Jason movie because, you know, the killer is obviously Mrs. Voorhees. Spoiler alert. But I think it's the scariest film. Like, even today when I watch Friday the 13th and, you know, like right now with it raining outside and shit, it's kind of just, it's the perfect film to put on, you know, with some popcorn, some friends. Even if you're watching it alone, you know, that's what I was going to say. It has those creepy moments. There's a lot of, I guess a lot of ambiguity in the first one because first off, we don't know who the killer is, or at least we didn't first time we watched it. But I think even now when I watch it, it's still disturbing because, I mean, I know what's going to happen, but I like the way it's shot. I think Sean Cunningham was really trying to make something genuinely scary. And at times it is disturbing, and the way that it lingers on the graphic violence, even though it cuts away from it fairly quick, it does linger a little bit on the graphic violence enough to disturb you. I mean, by today's standards, the film is pretty dated, but it still has the ability to, ring a few chills. And most people would complain that it's slow, and I guess I can see that. I can see that to a degree. But films back then, they definitely moved slower. And and I talk about this a lot, but one of my favorite scenes in the first one is the scene where Alice is just making coffee. She's just making coffee. It's right before she finds out that Bill is dead. And there's just like this fucking 5-minute scene with no cuts. And it's just Alice making coffee. Adrienne King. And it's unsettling. Like when I watch the movie, there's this palpable tension. It's building suspense, And when I saw it when I was young, I think the first time I saw the original Friday the 13th was definitely not on VHS. I think I saw it on cable. It was like on USA Up All Night. And I just remember that movie it kept building, it kept building, it kept building. And it was like, dude, what is going to happen? And I was waiting to actually see Jason. And that's what I was really excited about because, when you're young, it's like, about Jason just because he was all over pop culture and he was just all in the zeitgeist, at least around my time. And so you're waiting to see Jason. And then you find out that it's this crazy bitch. And I wasn't expecting that. So when Betsy Palmer comes in, it's like, what the fuck is going on? And she starts talking about Jason drowning and, you did it and all that shit. And it's completely like when it turns the tables, I'm like, fuck, I didn't expect it, And I've always said this, the first Friday the 13th reminds me of a giallo. It's like something that, Mario Bava or fucking Lucio Fulci or Argento would have done. Because Argento always had these female killers. And he was really, really good at telling those types of stories. And I feel like Friday the 13th kind of follows that same pattern. Even though, it was clearly modeled after, the paradigm for Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. The Friday the 13th still has a giallo-esque feel to it. Because, I guess because of the mystery, the overall mystery. And I like the lore of it. The first movie, you know that this boy drowned. And you just know that all these bad things happened at that camp. But none of the mysteries have been uncovered yet. And I think that's what makes the movie so dark and foreboding. And a lot of the way the scenes are presented, the way they're set up, it's just like this. Each scene kind of gives you this a little bit of foreshadowing, and just a sense of dread. I mean, there's the whole scene with... where you have Ralph in the fucking utility closet or the pantry or whatever. And, he jumps out and says, you're all doomed, and all that shit. So, I mean, you have that. You have the scene where, what's his name? Enos, the truck driver, is trying to tell, Annie that she needs to fucking quit. That was a scene that was kind of, foreboding. And it's just like you just knew that all this bad shit was going to happen. And it was just kind of just like setting the tone. The snake, even that little sequence, with the snake, as arbitrary as that scene is, it's kind of just letting you know that there are some unwanted things in these woods, and that these kids probably need to be a little aware of their surroundings, and I guess, bad things are amiss. It just, I don't know, even with the, was it Kevin Bacon and his girlfriend, was it Marcy? I think the actress's name is Janine Taylor, I believe. Yeah. And I don't know, they're kind of like that scene where she's talking about her dream, her nightmare, and she's talking about the rain turning into blood and shit. That I feel like a scene like that would be excised nowadays because it really does nothing for the plot, but it kind of just contributes to the overall dark tone of the first movie. And although that scene and all the aforementioned scenes, they contribute to how the movie builds, and it builds. And almost until, the scene when you see Ned go into the cabin. And at that moment, you definitely know that some bad shit's going down. And that scene always creeped me out, too, when Ned goes to the cabin and you see like for like a split second, you see a glimpse of Mrs. Voorhees. And then, but you can't tell who the fuck it is. and especially like when you're watching it on VHS. When you watch it on Blu-ray now, like you can clearly see a lot more detail. But when I was a kid watching that movie on VHS, it was real grainy, and it kind of just gave it that real cheap, low budget feel. Almost like you could have shot it at your local summer camp, or in your backyard for that matter. And that's what I miss kind of a lot about those movies that came out. A lot of the old slashers, that came out on VHS, they had that quality to them. It was like, fuck, this could happen in my neighborhood, especially if you lived like in an area that was real dense with woods and shit, or if you lived out in the country somewhere where it was just all desolate. But the first movie is just fucking legendary to me, and it definitely created a legendary franchise. But that's my number one. And for those who disagree, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to disappoint you. This is my list, and like I said, it's malleable. It might change in the future. So don't hate me too much. But that is my top 12. And if you guys agree, if you guys disagree, if you want to leave your own ranking in the comment section, please do. I'd love to read it and make fun of you. But that's about all I can say, guys. I mean, Friday the 13th is a really important series to me. I have fun with the movies, and I feel like it's part of a bygone era. They don't make slashers very much anymore. And slashers to me growing up were fun because they were so mindless and dumb, And I almost feel like nowadays horror kind of takes itself a little too seriously, almost to the point where it's like ridiculous and pretentious. It's almost like when movies didn't take themselves too seriously, they were a little more enjoyable. Now it's like you can see through the veil, I guess, if that makes any sense. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. And like I said, stab the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Leave comments. Share this with your friends. This has been Popcorn on the Macabre, and you've been listening to Dick. And I will see you guys in the near future. So take care. Thanks for hanging out.